ProVision Mentorship is one of several strategic focuses of ProVision Solutions Inc. I'm Jim Ewing, and mentorship can make a difference. This is one of several interviews with those who've experienced mentorship. Learn from their experiences. Then take a moment and share your experiences on our blog, ProVision Mentorship.
Well, my name's Allan Johnson. I was born and raised right here in Prince George, and my background is pretty varied. It started out in the area of the wood industry, and I got involved as a full-time firefighter. For 18 and a half years, I was a 911 dispatcher for my last 3 years of the fire department. And then I discovered my calling, which is in the area of financial management or financial stewardship. And that's been my full-time career since basically 1995, when I got involved in the business that I'm currently in as a financial advisor. Along the way, there's been a lot of people that have been in my life that have had an impact on me or influenced me to sort of help shape me along the way. And I think that's where I'm at today, and I'm recognizing the value that others have had on me that I also have a responsibility to share with others, and specifically in the area of mentorship. There's a number of people that have come into my life that have turned out to be mentors. At the time I didn't recognize it, but looking back I seen the influence that they did have on my life. One of them was Father Bill Walker, who basically encouraged me to get involved in marriage preparation courses. And I had no background or outside of it personal experience, but I didn't have any knowledge or even thinking that I could do that. And he encouraged me and my wife Anita to consider teaching these courses, and we actually got involved in working with 88 couples over the course of 9 years as a result of that. We would have never done that without his encouragement and I guess just telling us we could do it. I think of my father-in-law, Ernest Costco, who was a wonderful example of grace and how he was able to handle other people, and I learned from him just from his example. He had a big influence on me. I think of a good friend is Pastor Paul Bertig, who's also been instrumental over the last 2 years since I've known him to show me the value of friendship and how important to have a close friend in your life is. And I think one more person would be Dr. Miles Monroe, who I actually was in a mentorship program with him for a whole year, and he had a huge impact on me, basically identifying who I am and why I'm here, what the gifts I have, and how I'm to use them and how I'm to share them with others. So those, even Og Mandino, you know, with his book, The Greatest Salesman in the World, I'm thinking back in 1979, 1980, when I first read that, had a huge influence on me to give me some confidence that I could actually do something and be something, and where I didn't have that encouragement prior to that. So all those people have played a role in my life that have had an impact on me and helped shape me along the way, and I really learned to value what they've done for me and how they've assisted me and how they played a role in my life and in my personal development.
What type of help can a mentor provide?
Well, I think most of all, it's the mentors have played a role in giving me affirmation, giving me encouragement, giving me support, and just more or less being an example in my life of what I can be, how I can be a better person, help me identify some of the rules to live by. I call them principles in life that you lay down the ground rules, what you're willing to put up with and what you're not willing to put up with. And I think those kinds of things, when they're clarified, it makes it easier to sort of follow a straighter path. And those particular folks in my life that have played that have been an example in those areas, and I think that's had a huge impact on just helping me be more comfortable in who I am today. You're in a position as a mentor to help give people confidence in their own ability to do anything, really. We need encouragement, we need support from others to let us know that we have what it takes to do something, and often we don't get that kind of encouragement maybe in our own home lives or our own personal lives, and to have someone come into our lives that has the ability to do that it's huge, to just have somebody sort of cheering you on and supporting you and guiding you in these areas, and I found it a huge impact in my life. There's a number of things that are necessary, and I guess the first thing would be a willingness to share my time. and a willingness for a mentee to want to pursue me and pursue the gifts that I have and I'm willing to share. I think that would be one of the first things that would be important, is a desire to improve and continue to grow. The other things would be making the commitment. Obviously, you know, we're working with someone, you're going to have to give up time, and the other person would have to be willing to put in the time. And I think that's critical to any relationship. I think a person would need to like the other person that you're mentoring or that you're a mentee for. You want to develop a relationship, and that should be based on friendship, not just from a practical point of view that you're sharing what you know, but you want to develop a relationship as well. And I think often that would be a foundational part of the relationship that's necessary. I think it's important to be able to be a good student. If you're the mentee and you're wanting to learn, you have to be willing to accept what you're being told without challenging necessarily, to be a student or a servant, to be possibly to submit to the teachings that you're receiving. And I think it's important to have respect for each other as a foundational part of that as well.
Talk with us about the development of the mentorship relationship.
Yeah, there should be personal growth on the part of the mentee. There should be improvements. There should be fruit. There should be some consequences of the effort that's put in. There should be change. You should see things being implemented into the daily walk that's as a result of the information that's been shared. And I think part of that growth spurs each along, the teacher and the student, along the way. They can see the movement they're making. They can see the improvements in their lives. They can see the changes that are taking place in their own personal behavior, in their attitudes, as a result of what they learned. And I think part of that is quick-stepping the growth. Often it may take us years to go through all of those processes, but when you're working with one-on-one with someone who's sharing their life story with you and their experiences, you can fast-track what may have taken myself 20 years to learn, and learn a lot of it in 1 year just through example and through working with someone side by side. And I think that's critical to the relationship, is just spending time with someone who's been there, walks the walk, knows the talk, and they live by the example. And you know, I've seen so many people, you know, tell me what to do, but I'm not seeing it. And when you live your own example of what you're teaching others through example, it's much easier to receive, and it's much easier to accept what it is you're being taught. And I think those are the kinds of things that we should see as part of the growth along the way. There should be change, and it should be encouraging for both parties.
Is it possible for a mentorship relationship to be mutually beneficial?
Well, often the joy is in the giving or the sharing, and I found that now that I've been on both sides of that equation, it's extremely valuable to be able to share with someone else some of the things that you've learned, to share the mistakes that you've made, to maybe save them some of the stumbles. I feel that often it's a compliment when somebody's willing to spend time with you and actually invest time in you. I think it's important that when we've got a lot of knowledge and wisdom and experience under our belt, that we share that with others, to leave a legacy for others, to be able to impact others in their lives as a result of what we've done. So when I'm long gone, hopefully, you know, what I've shared with other people would be multiplied into the lives of others. And we're always in the process of growing, and we learn from each other often the best by sharing each other's testimony or our stories. And I feel that I've learned the most being a mentee under someone else, and I've also feel it's valuable for the person that's sitting across from me wanting to learn what I've learned, and they have a thirst or an interest in what what I have to offer, and I take that as a real compliment that they're willing to put that time in, and I'm willing to share that time as well.
Have you got some tips for both the protege and the mentor?
The basis of the relationship should be on being the right mentee for the person who's looking for a mentor. And I think often also being the right mentee. You need to search each other out to make sure that each are appropriate for each other. And I think often, you know, we might want to share our experience or knowledge with someone, and they're not receiving it well, or there's not a good fit, or there's not the desire there. And I think that's important as a foundation for a relationship, to start with that you're the right person in both sides of the equation, whether you're the mentee or the mentor. And I think based on that, as you grow together, spend more time together, you get to learn from one another, you get to know one another better, share the good things and the bad things that have happened in your lives, and there's a trust that's developed along the way. And I believe that that's going to enhance any relationship. The more time you spend with someone, the more you're going to be able to impact their lives and understand each other, and be empathetic to each other, and then become sincere friends where you can actually watch out for each other and watch over each other as well.
What final thoughts would you share with those considering entering into a mentorship relationship?
As a mentee myself, I realized the value that I received working with someone who was willing to take me on. And there has to be a fit there that you're both comfortable with. And so realizing how much value I received as a mentee with someone else willing to invest in me, I feel that I have a real obligation to share what I've learned with others. How sad that would be that I would go to my grave and not share all that I've learned with as many people as I can. Now, I can't work with hundreds of people, but I can work with one at a time for those who are interested. And let's face it, not everyone is interested. There's only going to be a small handful of people who are going to pursue wanting to find a mentor to work with. And it may be a specific area, it may be a particular a business opportunity or a relational opportunity. And I think it's a small list of people who are even going to be entertaining that type of thing anyways. And I think the value that a person would receive, either being the mentor or the mentee, is it's a life experience that you would never regret. You would never regret. And to share that with others would be the real true value of leaving a legacy. So what you've done doesn't disappear after one generation. It carries on and hopefully leverage into many other lives along the way.
Now it's your turn to share your experience with mentorship. Visit our blog, ProVision Mentorship. Make the investment in mentorship today for your success tomorrow.